I was asked to make more videos about Mormonism. I said I would, but thinking about it, it's really maddening because I could go through all the facts about Mormonism. I can go to utlm.org and just read off of how many. Sandra Tanner did a great deal of work exposing Mormonism. She was born Mormon and she found her way out. And I think the healthiest way, even if you're an atheist, for a Mormon, if you have a Mormon friend, the easiest way is Christianity. It really is. Doesn't really. I'm not going to push orthodoxy here, but the easiest way to decompression them out. You don't want to have just people who are just ripped away from Mormonism, because then they'll come back because they'll say, "Oh, the function of it, this, that," or they'll become hard and bitter, mean asshole atheists that are on YouTube. The first vision. Anybody looking into Mormonism or converting to Mormonism, the first vision. Joseph said he saw an angel. Then he said he saw angel Lehi. Then it was Nephi. Then it was Moroni. Then it was John the Baptist and Jesus. And then it was Simon Peter, John, Jesus, and James. And then it was Jesus, and then the final version, it was Jesus standing alongside the physical flesh and blood Father, who himself had a father and used to be mortal and all that stuff. And then the visions kind of diverged, and there was different visions. The one in which 12 was different from the other one, and he's a con man, a fraud, and a liar. And it's really frustrating that we have to talk about this. That this infection has gotten so bad, and it's people thinking that religion and science will always clash, therefore you throw out all logic when you come to religion, which is disgusting. Science grew up in the light of religion, in the light of Islam and Christianity. That's where science comes from. The Mormons hold no claim. Well, what about they say the prophets and this and that? I would urge you to watch the Frank Schaeffer video that I have up here that I just titled All Protestants Must Watch. It's, I don't know, about an hour and 45 minutes long. It's 1:46 in the morning here, just outside of Chicago. But Mormonism, it can be categorized as a, I want to say mental disorder. That's crazy, but it is something odd. I don't know how anybody could believe it. I mean, believing in the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or Buddhist teachings is far different than believing a liar, someone who is convicted of fraud. He said he could find, through divination, find gold and treasure on this man's property, and he couldn't. He was brought to court, was thrown in jail. He was known as a fraud. The whole story of the Book of Mormon, if you actually read the accounts of what happened, Sarah Harris was right in stealing the pages, and Joseph couldn't reproduce them. There was no miracle. It's all, they go back, even the Book of Mormon, they go back every few years and redo it, updated edition, to make things less racist and violent. It started out extremely violent. The Mormons love to play the persecution card, but they were hated everywhere they went. Now, if I told you I had a friend, he went to that restaurant and some bad stuff happened and they won't let him come in anymore. Real great guy. And then he went into that bar and a lot of trouble happened and he left and but really great guy. And I told you this 10 times. would you think the problem was all of those bars and restaurants, or would you think, oh, maybe it's that guy? It's kind of how early Mormonism was. They got kicked out of everywhere. They kept trying to set up theocracies. They actually tried to declare war on the United States. They wound up massacring, uh, I believe, over 150 men, women, and children at Mount Meadows under the direct order of Brigham Young. People say we can't prove that. Well, you pretty much can, and if even if you can't prove that, which you, it's the only conclusion you can come to, he was an accessory after the fact because he kept all the property, didn't give any of it to the few that survived, and he got all the spoils of the raid of the war that he launched on these people, these innocent people, and the Mormons lied to disarm the people, and then they murdered them, and then they tried to blame the Indians. This is not an honorable group of people. And what did they do? They blamed one man, John Dealey, and they shot him. One man did all that, turned into 50 Mormons surrounding the camp of these people, and even though the account was that every Mormon man stood by the Arkansas people and shot each man. Well, that all John D. Lee must have, become all those people. Oh, that's not early Mormon. That's just under Brigham Young. What about Joseph Smith? Joseph Smith, oh, he died a martyr. Killed 2 people, by the way, as being a martyr, going out in a gun blaze like you'd think Billy the Kid would or something. Joseph Smith and his brother Hiram were liars and cheats, swindlers, whatever you want to call them. The word of wisdom, you want to go by that? That's now doctrine, and you need to have that. You need to do that, go by that strictly in order to get your temple recommend. Joseph Smith drank wine. He was known for smoking cigars. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's as if you were to sit around with, and this is actually real, you sit around with people from such ancient religions like Buddhism. If you have the Dalai Lama of Tibet Buddhism, you have the Pope, the Roman Catholic Church, you have the Archbishop of Canterbury, you have the top Ayatollahs and Imams, and then you have a New Age guru who's a 45-year-old divorced housewife who 3 years ago heard from her magical talking cat that she was God. And you have them sitting there and they say, these are the valid religious representatives of the world, and they're going to talk to you about culture and history and how religion has played a role both negatively and positively. You'd say, well, what the hell is that? What is she doing up there? Or is this, you're saying that because I'm a woman or because I'm divorced? No, it's because you're inexperienced and you're crazy. And that's what Joseph Smith was, but he was worse than crazy. He was a liar. He was laughing his ass off at all of his followers. It is repugnant and disgusting. And the sad thing is, I know at least one Mormon who is a great, beautiful woman, just a nice, kind old woman. And she's going to die in Mormonism. I mean, again, the Orthodox Church is against proselytizing. Hopefully she'll make it to heaven. But they're polytheists. They reject the Trinity. I have a lot more respect for Jehovah's Witnesses than I do for Mormons. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses are purist sola scriptura type. Well, they come off that way, but they're really taught from Bethel or whatever Watchtower organization pumps it full crap. But you really can get sucked into that easier than Mormonism, which is just an outright fraud. And they get people by their community outreach programs, this and that. And it's kind of like Scientology. If you heard the real stuff up front, you'd be like, no, I'm not. That's wacky. But they do. It's classic cult. Mormonism is a classic cult that always will be. Love bombing. Well, yeah, but this and that. And if you look at the Bible, they try to bash the Bible because the Book of Mormon is so ahistorical and nothing could possibly have happened. These huge battles where there's no archaeological evidence. They say there's coins in the New World. They talk about wheels. They talk about writing, swords, stuff that was never here. Elephants. Then they try to claim we're actually woolly mammoths. See, it's proof with this and then all these ridiculous things. The Bible, you could pretty much put a spade in the ground and dig up a city that was there. Now, that doesn't prove the miracles, but it actually happened around the time that it said it did, and it's a document from history talking about history. Well, many documents uh, spoken in the language of the people of the time, with their attitudes, with their virtues and faults. The Book of Mormon is sheer fantasy written in Jacobean English because that's what the King James Bible was in, and has no bearing in history whatsoever. So going in and through Mormonism, the Heart of the Matter by Sean McCraney. I'll favorite some of his episodes. I'll actually send links to you, Magnus56j. But it's so you're so bogged down in, or at least I am, with dealing with them, because they're people who, look out the window, you could see the tree's right. The tree is not there. You know what? God told me the tree's not there. So why would I even look? I already know that the tree is not there. Look, no, it's right. I mean, that's pretty much what we're dealing with. I know if an atheist is watching this video, they're probably like, well, that's whatever. That's what all the religions do. No, you got to stop. There are religions. I mean, again, Sam Harris is correct. Religion is a useless word. Catholicism, Orthodoxy, well, not so much Orthodoxy in some places, Islam, Buddhism. These are cultural things. These are organizations, groups that had been the glue of society, have passed down culture, have encapsulated the culture of their time, for better or worse. They were the motivation for many people, inspiration for many people. And here comes Joseph Smith, uh, bringing out these lies that he just made up, claiming it's a religion and claiming it should be equally respected. It shouldn't be. Mormonism is totally repugnant and disgusting and awful. Can I say it any clearer? Oh, am I being unchristian about this? Absolutely not. I'm sure Jesus would have had a lot, uh, would have been a lot more colorful in his language of discussing Mormonism. He probably wouldn't have said anything at all. He probably would have said they're all liars. But well, he does say that. You can read it in the book that his apostles, or the disciples of the disciples of the disciples of the apostles, put together. And I mean, everything they do contradicts the New Testament, the Old Testament, but they're indoctrinated so much that they just filter it right out. I mean, they just filter through, boom. So any place for a Mormon besides the Mormon Church is a better place. Probably not Islam, but let's just say any Christian denomination. They have the Trinity and the hypostatic union. Basically, you might not even know what that is. You believe in God, one God, who is both Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Christ being 100% God, 100% man. That's fine, and that's Protestants, most mainline Protestants, Orthodox Catholic. Mormonism. I'm gonna run out of time, so you know how I feel. Peace to you, and pray for the Mormons.